feel like this movie would have benefited more if it had changed its title from Detroit to like Algiers, because it doesn't really focus on the Detroit riots as much as it does on the Algiers motel. Detroit. So Detroit is based on a true story of a horrifying event that took place in the Algiers motel during the Detroit riots of the 1960s, I believe, and stars John Boyega, Will Poulter, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and Anthony Mackie. And in this movie, during the Detroit riots, this group of people are taking refuge in the Algiers motel just to get away from all the violence that's happening on the streets. However, when shots are heard near their location, the police, the National Guard, everyone, all armed police are just on their way there and start open firing the shit out of where they're staying, leading all the black people and even 2 white girls to be pinned up against the walls, scared for their lives as the police interrogate them one by one. Not only do they verbally abuse them, but they physically abuse them as well as threaten to kill them. And I have to say, after hearing all the hype for this movie, I do feel like it is a little bit overhyped, but that doesn't take away from how horrifyingly, terrifyingly real this movie is. Because it's based on a true story, you really do expect it to be grounded in realism, and it really does capture that essence of horror that these people were feeling at this time. And that is helped a lot by the main performances that these guys give. You also have some big names in there as well, including John Boyega, whose character is just a security guard, but when he hears the shots, he decides to help out. And he has a very difficult task in this movie because a lot of his acting comes more from reacting to what he's seeing, to what he's hearing. There's a lot of facial expression, body language, just even looks in the eye, and he absolutely nails it in this movie. John Boyega is fantastic. He's absolutely one of the best rising stars of this generation. He is absolutely outstanding in this film. As is Will Poulter. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong there, but he plays the main cop in this movie, and he is a real horrible piece of work. I mean, he is racist, he is horrible, he is conniving, he is threatening. He commands such intimidating presence when he's on screen that you can't help but hate the guy. And massive props have to go to Will Poulter for taking on a role like this, because it must be horrible to take on a role like this. I have to say, he nailed it. You hate him just as much as you're probably supposed to hate the real guy. Anthony Mackie is also in this movie. I didn't know he was in this film, which is what is great, because there are some big names in this movie, but I feel like a lot of them were their characters rather than me looking at the screen going, oh, that's John Boyega, or oh, that's Anthony Mackie. I generally felt like these guys were their characters. Not once did I see them as the actors, as their real selves. I only saw the characters they were playing. And this is a very brutal movie as well. There are some scenes in this film that are pretty hard to watch, and I feel like a lot of people will be heavily impacted by this film. And it is incredibly well directed by Kathryn Bigelow as well. What she does is she manages to get a lot of horror elements out of something that could be a very serious drama film, because the main guys in this movie are genuinely scared for their lives. They're terrified. Without giving away any spoilers, there are 2 guys running through this house who think they have a chance to escape, and every time a white policeman walks past the window, they duck down, they hide, as if they're hiding from like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees or someone like that. And just simple shots like that, simple moments like that, genuinely make you feel for these characters. Not only are you terrified in that scene on the edge of your seat, gripping the armrest as hard as you can, but you are scared for these guys. You feel for these guys. I will say the only real issues that I have with this movie is the opening is done in a sort of animation style way, which was very confusing. It didn't really fit with the tone that the rest of the film was going for. Maybe if they'd have shown it in news clips, or maybe even just put it in writing so we could read it and understand like a bit of a past before this actual moment in time, maybe that would have made it feel a bit better or flow a bit better into the tone of the film. But the animation that they used just felt very out of place, felt very weird, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. And although Kathryn Bigelow does direct this film very, very well, there are some moments of shaky cam which I felt weren't always necessary. There were times where I feel like it was to help add to the tension and the suspense. It's there to make us feel what they're feeling when they're disoriented. The shaky cam's there to make us feel disoriented and confused, terrified, scared. We want to get out of there. We want to get out of there with these people. But there are also some scenes where I really didn't feel like it was needed. My final issue with this film is I feel like the end went on a little bit too long. I feel like it could have done with being maybe 15-20 minutes shorter. There's a certain point where I thought the film should have just stopped, but it kept going for a good 15-20 minutes afterwards, which I feel could have been explained through the text writing that we normally have at the end. Granted, they still had the bits of writing at the end which do explain certain moments after the events. So I feel like the last 15-20 minutes could have also benefited from just being a little bit of writing on the screen that we read as we were walking out. Other than that though, guys, Detroit was incredible. I loved this film. It was incredibly horrifying, heartbreaking, grounded in gritty realism. Kathryn Bigelow did an incredible job of directing this film. The acting by everyone involved was outstanding. Will Poulter is definitely the standout for me because he played such an evil character. And he did it so well that you get to the point of hating him despite the fact you're supposed to hate his actual character. And again, I feel like this movie will impact a lot of people in a lot of ways when they sit down and watch this film. It is an incredibly well made film. It is a very important film as well. And so for all of that, I'm going to give Detroit 4 stars. So, Detroit, have you guys seen it yet? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks as always for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with friends, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, then subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.